So welcome back to the third episode of JA Malta's podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject, how to raise savvy spenders. And I would like to thank our partners, Finance Malta, who are sponsoring this series of financial education podcasts, which are extremely important for us. Today we've got two special guests with us who are going to be enlightening us with their experiences also as parents and the thoughts on how we can take this further. So today with us we have Charles Xuereb, who is the CEO from Trident. Thank you very much for being here. And also Mr. Silvan Mifsud, who is a financial consultant from EMCS.
Thank you, you're welcome.
So I think maybe the best thing to do is maybe you can talk a bit about yourselves as well, a bit of an introduction, but also as parents, because both of you, the three of us actually, are parents. So we'll start off with yourself.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm Charles Xuereb. I'm 44 years of age, plus or minus 10. I'm an accountant by profession. I have one kid, a 24-year-old, so I've been through quite a bit of the whole process. And as you said, I'm the CEO of the Trident company, which is listed on the Malta Stock Exchange.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Silvan Mifsud, 47, no plus or minus, it's 47. I'm a financial consultant. I'm the director for advisory services at EMCS, basically focusing on economic advisory, financial advisory, and business advisory. And my specialty is working with family businesses. So I'm involved in succession planning with many family business where this financial education comes in very useful. And I am a parent, and I'm a father to a 9-year-old. And, as a father to a 9-year-old, the thing of financial education starts becoming very interesting.
So let's get to know each other a bit more. I'm going to fire out some questions and tell me which one you would prefer. So, monthly budget or no budget? What would you go for?
Monthly budget.
Yes, a monthly budget, obviously within the remit that the monthly budget is not there to restrict us, but to guide us.
Good. Piggy bank or savings account?
Savings account.
Definitely savings account.
Simple interest or compound interest?
Compound.
If possible, compound interest.
If possible.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, yes. Financial podcast or financial news? What do you prefer to listen to?
Financial news for me.
Well, I read the financial news every day. It's part of my job. So I read the Financial Times on a daily basis, for example. Mm-hmm. It's how I was brought up. Most probably the younger generation will prefer videos and podcasts. But
yes.
For my generation...
True. It's becoming more popular, in fact,
That's true.
as you're stuck in traffic. You know, you could listen to a podcast and at least do something.
But I feel that especially... I'm a person that wakes up very early. Mm-hmm. I'm a morning person. And even in the evening, if I have time, I always feel I have to... I read it online today because obviously it's available online. Mm-hmm. So I'm subscribed to read it online, but I cannot go about without reading my financial news. Through the Financial Times mainly, The Economist, Harvard Business Review, but Financial Times is my staple diet, sort of.
If you're giving a gift, what would you prefer to give? A gift card or a cash gift?
Cash gift.
Good question. If possible, a book, but if within the option, I would go for a gift card. Because it balances the thought that I put some thought into it, but still giving some option to the person.
Mm-hmm. Money under the mattress or in the bank?
Definitely not under the mattress.
Yeah, same here, definitely not under the mattress, in the bank, but possibly even other options, not just the bank.
Okay, good. And we can mention those options also. Spend money on experiences or save money for a sunny day?
It's a hybrid. We only live once, so you need to enjoy life, but you also need to take care of the of money, because rainy day will happen. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when.
Okay, what do you...
It's both, obviously, with different weightings depending on when you are in life. I strongly believe that experiences are very important. So if you were to give me the option between a gift in some, I don't know, jewelry or watch or mobile or whatever, or an experience, I would definitely choose an experience.
Okay.
Whilst we need to create a balance between experiences, but obviously teaching even the younger generation that putting something aside for a rainy day is the wise thing to do.
All right, so I'm going to challenge you on the last thing that both of you have mentioned. What do you prefer, to save towards a rainy day or towards a sunny day?
From my end, it's both.
It's both.
You need to prepare, you need to save in order to go and have fun, go abroad or spending some money on clothes or whatever, but you also need to put aside a sum of money for the rainy day, because it will happen. And, everyone is entitled to enjoy life.
Yeah.
We only live once. Life is too short, so why not save for a sunny day, but also at the back of my mind, don't end up with your back against the wall, where a rainy day will come and you don't, you don't have money.
You're stuck.
You're stuck.
Exactly the same.
And we didn't agree on these, okay? We didn't practice
In fact,
before we started.
I asked this with quite a lot of the students that I'll be teaching, whether they're adults or younger. Where would you, if you had to have a fund, what would you prefer? That you're saving towards something sunny or something rainy? Because basically we see sometimes money as something very negative.
Well, for younger people, saving for something sunny is conceptually more easy to understand than saving for something rainy. And that is a very easy thing to understand, because to understand or to gain an appreciation of a rainy day, you would have to go through it.
Yes.
And at a younger generation, at a younger age, most probably you wouldn't have gone through it.
Yes.
So it is conceptually much easier. But I feel that if we instill in the younger generation the benefit and the value of them saving for a sunny day, we increase the chances that they understand then the value of saving for a rainy day.
Okay.
If we give the younger generation everything easily available, then obviously the whole concept of slaving has gone out of the window. So it's we tend to be very practical in life, and we because life is so short, and we forget that there are a lot of philosophical aspects to what we do, which we tend to completely overlook because we don't have time to think deeply about things. But doesn't mean that they're not there. They are there.
Yes, because in fact, I mean, if you look at the psychology of money, we always tend to talk more about the negative things. So trying to look at money from a positive aspect, hence a sunny day instead of a rainy day, sometimes helps with the behaviors that the younger generation are sort of showing.
And if I may, and it doesn't take much if you do it gradually.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so putting away, if you have, let's say, a salary of €1,000, putting away €100 is not much. But if you do it on a monthly basis, you have 1,200 at the end of the year.
Exactly, for sure.
Rather than being faced with one lump sum, a payment, God forbid, an accident or whatever, where you have to fork out €1,000 upfront. It will be a lot. But if you save just a little bit on a monthly basis and put that away,
Yes.
that will come really handy
It's
at the right time.
more peace of mind as well. So let's go into the content. Kids from the age of 6, 7 are now cognitively able to understand, make decisions of what is going on around them. So what they see, what they hear, what they observe, the surrounding environment. Also, we know as adults, well, as human beings, we are creatures of habit also. So from a young age of 6, 7, 8, kids are picking up whatever they see from the closest people that are within their environment. So be it their parents, their caregivers, their educators, their friends. So they're picking up all of these things. Another important point is that when it comes to financial education, unfortunately, it isn't being taught as frequently, if anything at all, in schools. Not only locally, but this is a global issue, and it is having an impact. That's the question I'd like to ask you. Do you think there is an impact on the economy at large? So taking these two concepts in mind, so kids at a young age are absorbing like sponges, and we as creatures of habit. What do you think we can do in order to start off, the three of us are parents now, to start off from a young age, supporting the kids in getting the right approach towards money? But as a parent, what do we need to be aware of now? Knowing that they are watching us, knowing that habits can be passed on. What do you think we need to be aware of?
Let me start off with what my mom used to tell me. Take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. Nowadays we'll take care of the euro cents and the euros will take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But it's very true. Unfortunately, there are instances where parents would have gone through such a hard time in their upbringing that whatever their children want, they'll give it to them because they don't want them to go through the hardships of what they would have experienced in the first place. So that's a big challenge for parents, to look beyond and see, listen, if I teach my kid the value for money, because that's what it boils down to, giving value to money. We all work to gain money. It's not a dirty word or whatever. We all go to work to earn money and to do our, the sunny days for our sunny days and for our rainy days. But that's a challenge. So, for parents need to think that, one day they'll be on their own. Our kids will be on their own. Then have to fend for themselves in terms of, So that is, I think it's something which parents need to embrace and keep at the back of their mind all the time. Because as you said, kids are influenced big time about from their upbringing.
So this awareness of what they are passing on and ensuring that they are passing on the positive habits, the good traits of understanding what the value of money is and how it's linked to work. Could you give some examples on how that can be done?
Parents have an obligation to teach by example more than by words. So because of the fast lifestyle today, we're teaching by example that you can throw money at any problem or at any challenge, then you're automatically influencing your child to do the same. I see this a lot in family businesses. A family business who has grown and obviously has created wealth. that wealth creates an affluent lifestyle, and the second or third generation are brought in this affluent lifestyle thinking that, money came, really pouring down from trees.
Yes.
And they do not have an appreciation of the sacrifices, the work, the risk, the sleepless nights, the tension involved in arriving at where the family business has arrived to today. And that is why the risk that a lot of family businesses, risk their own existence in generational change if they do not pass on the right skills. I mean, I told you, I have a 9-year-old, a discussion. She was seeing something, we were seeing something together on my mobile, and she told me, what mobile is this? I told her, it's a Samsung S21. She told me, what does 21 mean? I told her I bought it in 2021. She told me, but that is 3 years, why don't you change it? I told her, well, isn't it working? I mean, it's working fine, very fine. Why should I change it? Because no, it's an old model. No,
Yeah.
So I am sort of showing my daughter, who is naturally inclined in the world we live in, that, 2 years have passed, so just changed it. That, I mean, there is value to things. And why should you change something which is still delivering value to you?
Exactly.
Okay? And these are obviously very small micro things, but these are things we need to instill in the very young generation. The value of money, and more than the value of money, the value of the time, the sacrifice, the input that goes behind money. Okay?
Yes.
And that when you are transacting in money, you are really transacting in life.
Yes, exactly.
That money is a representation of value, which is life.
Exactly.
When you are giving your time to gain money, you're giving the most precious thing you have, which is your life. That time you will never getting back. Money you can lose, you can recover, whatever. But the time you spend, you will never gain back. That is gone forever.
And the thing is, I mean, you've just mentioned, a story that you had with regards to your... These are things that no matter how much time passes...
They stick with you.
They stick with you. So, money is also very much connected from an emotional side. And then this is something that you would, then as a parent, would like to pass on.
Yeah. And one other point, nothing comes for free. Okay, even if we're used to going to hospital and it's free, it's not free. Someone is paying for it.
Yes.
We're paying it through our taxes. So there is nothing for free. And the hard work to be able to save to be able to afford these needs to be kept in mind. Nothing is free, and there is a lot of baggage behind it in order to achieve what we have achieved.
So this is a question for both of you. Do you think that by being financially responsible from a young age, okay, so supporting our kids to become more financially aware and responsible and understanding the value, that it contributes to shaping a country's economy? Do you think there is a link there, or?
Absolutely, it's as they say, it's the forma mentis. It's everyone has his own or its own finances. Even the country has its own finances of what is affordable or not. I mean, whether it's investments in the infrastructure and so on and so forth. So it starts from the family, which is the core of all this, and the education from a very, very young age is critical. I think one of the curricula which we need to make sure it's inbuilt in each and every schooling process is the understanding the true value for money, and starting to build and teach a mentality of taking care of money from a very, very, very young age.
Yes.
I agree that there is a level of education that needs to happen at school, and that is fine. But it can never substitute ever substitute the education that needs to happen in the families.
In the families.
And the education that happens in the families doesn't happen on pen on paper, happens by practical examples, by walking the talk. I feel with my daughter, I am always under examination. She is my greatest examiner. Because ultimately she is the litmus test of whether what I do is helping her become a better person, more independent, stronger or not, or more dependent on me, or giving her the easy way out. Okay? It's very easy. I'm tired, I came after a full day of work, I've been in and out of meetings all day, I barely want to hear anyone, and it's very easy to give her whatever she wants, give her as much as...
I'm sure that she knows that, so let's
give
forget
her as
when
much tablet time as she wants, TV time as she wants, but that would be the easy way out.
Yes.
That's not preparing her for life. I don't decide to go to work whenever I feel like, and watch TV whenever I feel like. It's already there. We're already down the road that today children can see whatever they want, whenever they want, which was not the experience I had when I was young. If you wanted to see something, you had to wait a particular time on a particular date. You pray to the Lord Almighty that the weather is correct today, that it's not too humid, that your TV will not be working. These things have blown out of the window. So you are, as a parent, you are the last dam. You are the last line of defense. If you are not doing that job, I'm sorry to say, you're failing as a parent. Because ultimately, your role as a parent to prepare your children for life.
So a question for you, Silvan. Have you noticed any significant difference in financial behaviors and decision making? The skills that individuals are showing over the years. You said that you work with family businesses. Have you seen any change when it comes to how people are taking financial decisions?
Well, it very much depends on the background of that of individual persons, experiences they have been and whatnot. But I would say on a generic basis, the younger generation are very much here and now. So the younger generation are very much, especially if they come from affluent backgrounds even more, are very much after, the immediate gratification. I don't want to be too technical, but I follow very much a writer and a very good public speaker on management and business strategy and the human emotions about it, called Simon Sinek.
Yes.
And he wrote a book, Leaders Eat Last. And he spoke about the need of humans to perform in organizations to feel that they are within a circle of safety. And one of the elements he mentioned is that by the need for instant gratification, we've become a society which is dopamine addicted. I mean, cell phones and social media is all about dopamine.
Yeah.
And all the rest. And I feel that we, in our society, the younger generation especially, are more... Not that the older generation are not being affected, but the younger generation are even more easily affected by this need for dopamine, which leads to peer pressure, leads to a lot of things, and it ends up giving value to things that are very transitory versus value to behaviors and philosophies and way of looking at life, which carry a lot of wisdom and benefit for the individual. So, it's about giving value to things, what car my father is driving, what brand of clothes I'm wearing, if my hairstyle is of the latest thing, all these things. And it's a constant battle for parents who want to instill in their children that there are much higher important things to think of. You know?
Yes.
Why are you bothering what clothes you're wearing, rather how kind you have been to your friends during the day,
But-
how much you've helped other people, you know?
So, moving on to you, Charles, on the same point, what resources or tools do you think would be essential for parents to avoid to pass on to their kids? Because just as, you know, as it was mentioned, if you're earning more money, you know, you'll probably buy more branded clothes. You're being seen by your children, so they think that it's obviously something normal, something usual. Changing your mobile every, you know, when the latest one comes out. So what do you think we should we avoid doing that as parents? How do we, you know, pass on the right messages and be aware of these potentially bad habits?
I think as parents we need to understand what our kids go through. You know, I think the peer pressure, they want to look good. I think the issue of the social media with the instantaneous, you know, the influencing, the TikTok of this world, the Facebook, the Instagram, everything immediate. So I think we really need to understand what they go through and not just dismiss it, because if we just dismiss it, then we'll be fooling ourselves, because, you know, they'll be going from behind our backs and doing things without us knowing what exactly is happening. So I would rather be frank and understanding. But the bottom line, I think, is that we need to, as much as possible, and I agree that, you know, we need to lead by example. It doesn't mean that, you know, if I can afford to go and buy a branded suit or shirt, whatever, I don't go. But we need to instill, you know, that to get money, you need to work for it. You need, you know, nothing, as I said earlier on, nothing comes for free. It doesn't, you know, come from the sky or up there, you know. You need to work hard. You need to work for it. And I think it's, you know, by discussions and, you know, showing them the experiences, because we've all been through experience, through life experiences, and why not, you know, share it with the kids and tell them, listen, we're here, we managed to achieve what we've achieved because we have gone through a lot of pains, you know, a lot of sacrifices. You know? If you're in a lucky position that, you know, you can afford it. If not, then, you know, try and then bring them on board and try and understand and listening to the kids.
So do you think we should, because we don't really talk about money, you know, it's quite taboo. And I was I was supporting a teacher who was giving a lesson to 9-10-year-olds about money. So where money comes from and the concept and the value of money, everything that we're speaking about today. And she, out of the blue, one of the kids sort of put up their hands and said, I use, I'm going to mention the brand, so Revolut Junior, okay? And all of a sudden, half the class put up their hands. Yes, so do I, miss, so do I. I've got Revolut Junior. What do you think of that? Is that something positive, or should it be, is it a good tool for us as parents to be able to support our kids, to be able to understand the intention behind buying that bike, for example, or whatever it is? So setting...
Is a bottle of whiskey something positive or negative? Depends how you use it.
Yes.
Internet.
Right? So Revolut Junior in itself is neither positive nor negative. It's how it's being used and the background, the formalities, the training, the way it's presented to the child, and the way the tool is used that creates a benefit or not. If the Revolut Junior is being used, that, you know, as soon as it's emptied, my son or daughter comes to me, can you put another 20-30 euros? and that's it. And every time he or she comes, yes, boom, boom, I'm throwing money at it. It's one thing.
Or automatically topped up.
All right, or automatically topped up from the parents. If I am using it as a way to tell my child, listen, I'm putting 10 euros. This has to last you at the end of the month.
Okay.
And I'm checking also where my daughter or son is using and how
Yes.
he's spending that 10 euros, or if he is spending it all, all right, or deciding to save some of it, it's a completely different way. But the tool has remained the same.
Yes.
So it's not,
It's the approach.
it's the approach and how you use the tool that makes the difference. It's not the tool in itself. So that is the whole difference, which is what we're speaking about here. It's not the tool. You be using just a simple Excel sheet to educate and pass on the same messages to your
Yes.
child in order to educate them.
And I mean, in fact, sort of like taking this particular scenario, the teacher was like shocked, you know? So I think even as parents, we also do need to learn what tools are there available which are up to date, you know, with the way kids see money, and find that balance in between, you know, so sticking to our fundamentals, teaching them about the concept of money and its value, but using technology or gamification to be able to, you know, be modernized, if you wish.
Actually,
with
the
what's
teacher had an
happening.
opportunity. The teacher had an opportunity to teach them that is a tool and how that tool could possibly be used in order to
Yes.
practice a good use of money.
And I was very happy to see that with the new educational strategy, one of the pillars is bringing in the community. For a question for both of you, what do you think needs to be done to be able to support schools or support parents more when it comes to the financial education of their kids? And should it be limited to just schools? Or could we look into organizations now, large organizations, because ultimately they are employing people who are also parents. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think could be done?
I think, as I said, the education is key wherever it starts, whether it starts at home or a school. I think the sharing of experiences, I think, has a lot of value. So with schools bringing in people who have, who can share their experience or whatever. They're influencers, so, we look up at people who come up with, have good talking capabilities and so on and so forth. So I think it's not there is no one solution. There are, little solutions, but a number of them to make, it's, today social media, we can't, ignore it.
No.
So we need to see how we can use social media to try and build a culture and help our kids develop the way that we want.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel that education is a mixture of knowledge and culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, schools can fill the knowledge gap, but they will not shape cultures.
Mm-hmm.
They can be partners in shaping cultures, but they cannot do it on their own, because culture is a much bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
So schools can teach our children the techniques of how to budget. Schools can teach us the techniques of why money, where it came from, and why we moved from the bartering system and moved into money, and what is the value of money, and so on and so forth. But the culture that shapes our behaviors, you said you studied behavioral economics, so I'm sure you're understanding where I'm coming from. The cultures that shapes our behaviors go beyond. And those cultures are societal cultures. So I get very worried, and I'm very critical of politicians, even in my public speaking and writing. When politicians pass on messages like, we're having a very good budget because yet again we're not increasing taxes. but we're increasing expenditure. The world is suffering from high energy prices, but we're going to keep subsidizing this. I mean, the messages we are passing there go against all we're saying here. That the culture is that, okay, don't worry, I mean, the world can, we're special and money.
Yes.
That's not it, okay? So this is creating a wrong culture of the wisdom of wealth and money and how to generate it and preserve it and how to use it. So those are cultures that go beyond schools and beyond the knowledge aspect, okay? And if our younger generation are absorbing this culture, you can throw at them all the knowledge in the world, because culture is strategy for breakfast, as we all know, and so it eats knowledge for breakfast. It eats everything. And so I feel we have also a cultural problem here.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I mean, if you look at as a culture, okay, Maltese, we are very good at saving our money, extremely good. Even from the last OECD Infair survey based on adults, fantastic on saving money. But when it comes to investments, zero. Really, really poor, because there is that lack of confidence, there is that lack of education. We're not sure what to do because I'm going to lose my money. But again, so that is the culture. It's linking, it's a habit which we are passing on, and I see this with the younger generation. So you take Gen Z. Because my parents always told me to save. But where are you saving your money? I put it in the bank. And is it earning interest? What do you mean? Even asking them, what's the difference between simple interest and compound interest? It's not there. Or just basically doing some research amongst the different banks that we have, where you can still save without that element, that risk element, but there is a positive interest. Why aren't you? Because my parents always banked with this bank, so...
Yes, but that is the knowledge aspect, what you're speaking about. First, we have the culture aspect, so that we learn how to use money perspective, because although we are, as a nation, if you look globally, of savers, but then if you look at the different age groups, then the experience is very different, okay? And I feel that as we the younger generation grows older, that saving skill could be diluting over the years, okay? But that is the culture aspect. Then comes the knowledge aspect. If I've saved, what am I going to do with my savings? And how do I best build a portfolio, a word we barely use in our Maltese lexicon? My portfolio of savings. Okay, I leave something in the bank because I need some liquidity. I invest something in other, How do I match the return I want with the risk I can take? These are all concepts which, that is the knowledge aspect that schools would come into, okay? I mean, these are things that in America are taken for granted.
Yes.
Almost all persons through the American school system come out as small investors. Right? It comes with them naturally.
Yes. Which links very much with what we were mentioning in the beginning, then entrepreneurship, critical thinking. It's a whole holistic approach. So I think as some key takeaways, and please feel free to add on, financial education is extremely important, and that it's essential for it to start off with the family, and how parents need to be aware of how they are passing on their values and their knowledge about money. So to be aware of their habits, to ensure that they are passing on the right ones, but also from the perspective of schools, parents do need that support in terms of knowledge, but also if there are tools out there to be able to help parents how to explain, how to talk about money, because maybe they didn't have that, it is essential. I think we can all agree that it is key to starting off teaching kids about money, where it comes from and its value, its worth, and the understanding of wealth is in the long term is necessary in order to turn these kids into potential young entrepreneurs, eager with a critical mind to start off their financial their
Journey.
business. Exactly. So I'd like to thank both of you. Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
For sharing your ideas, your support, and thank you to Finance Malta that as partners have been supporting us with this financial education series.